Well, I am super excited because News Channel 9's Josh Roe is finally back in the United States after a special trip halfway around the world. You didn't just leave the city, you didn't just leave the state, you left the entire country. Now, he was in Vietnam for a special assignment for the Price of Freedom, and he joins us now to tell us all about it. Josh, thank you so much for joining us today.
Good to be here, Hannah.
Yeah, I'm super
excited.
Me too.
I mean, so landed back in the United States Monday, middle of the day, and since then just trying to wrap my brain around what I saw there. And I said yesterday to Latricia at 5:30, this perspective changing, and I think it's one of those things that I don't know what I expected, but it so far exceeded everything that I expected.
Yeah.
Just the beauty of the country and the kindness of the people, and you know, a lot of our cultural references here in America around Vietnam are related to a war 50 years ago, you know, and I've read so many books and talked to some people who were there and fought in the war, and obviously some really rough times for a lot of folks, and so to go there and to see it in modern day, and to be with people who were there, who fought in the war, and families of people who fought in the war, and see that kind of healing happen before my eyes. It was amazing, and we're going to tell all those stories coming up in the next few weeks.
Yeah, and like you said, I know there are a lot of stories associated with your trip, but you were there with the family of a Medal of Honor recipient. So if you could tell me a little bit about that and the impact that had on you.
Rodney Davis, I've told this story in the past, and just the setup of the story is phenomenal. He grew up in Macon, Georgia. He went to Vietnam in 1967, so we know what the South was like in the 60s and prior, during Jim Crow and segregation and all these things. African American man, and joins the Marine Corps and goes to Vietnam, and he ends up in just a awful firefight. They were outnumbered at least 3-1, probably more than that, and he's in basically a bomb crater because there's been decades and decades and decades, centuries perhaps, of war in Vietnam for the French, the Chinese, lots of people, and so there's all kinds of just scars on the earth from that fighting, and they're in a big bomb crater, and essentially what he does is he dives on a grenade to save the lives of 5 fellow Marines. As I said, African American, grew up in segregation. All of those Marines were white, and the family, when that's reported, right, it's not 5 white Marines, it's 5 Marines.
Yes.
And so a man wrote a book about him, did some research, and as he's uncovering everything, he's like, wait a minute, all these guys are white. This is interesting. And so he tells the family that they had no idea. And there's just so many layers to that story of heroism and of, and then going back with the family and kind of the healing of the family who just so much there. And then we'll get into all that. I could talk all day, so I'll leave it there. So, but that gives you a kind of an idea of where we're going with the story.
Yeah, and kind of my last question, I know you've talked about a shift of your perspective, a change of perspective from this trip. I know this is a loaded question, but if there's one kind of key takeaway that you would say that you had from this trip,
Man,
what would it be?
How can I say
or
that?
You would want
seconds.
someone watching this to know about Vietnam, about the war, about these heroes.
Absolutely. Many levels of that. One thing for me personally, so you have a family of Medal of Honor recipient. You have a number of retired military who's there with us. We had some current active Marine Corps folks. I was in the Marine Corps and left in 1999 and haven't been around to this level, high level military officers, and to see them in that environment. Some had served there in the past, some had not, but were committed to this idea of how do we heal both veterans of the war who are Americans, and obviously a lot of situations there in Vietnam they're still dealing with 50 years later, and to see that leadership on that level was inspiring to see. And so I could take that in so many different directions, but that's one of them that really sticks with me, to see our military leaders, doing what they do and being just impressive human beings, and really trying to mend and heal a lot of old wounds, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Josh, thank you so much.
Thank you for
we
having
are
me.
so glad you're back, and of course, we will be following your journey, all of these stories, I'm sure, as the weeks progress. Thank you.
A lot to come. Thank you, Hannah.